If you are currently thinking about starting your investment account, then this is really the video that you need to watch. And this is going to be something that I'm just going to share my experiences over time and why you should start now. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thanks for clicking again. Now, what I would say is that if you're new to investing and you're worried about, where do I start from? How do I get started? Are there things that I should watch out for? And what steps do I need to take to make sure that I am positioned to make money? Well, those are the things I'm going to be talking about in this video. Understand that when it comes to investing, there's always the risk of losing money. And if you're going to start, it's okay to have the fear and worry, because if you've worked hard for your money, there is no reason for you not to have some fears as you about to embark on this journey of investing. When I first moved here, I remember before I made my first investment, I had to ask myself, and by the way, wasn't my first, but in a new environment, you have to understand how the system works. And I remember I had to actually meet with a financial advisor, and they guided me on how to set up my account and things like that. And one of the things I learned in that process was the first thing that you have to understand is your risk level, right? What are you willing to take? What are your goals? And that will determine also your risk level. Because if you have a goal of, let's say you want to save for retirement, you have plenty of time to reach retirement, then that means that you are willing to maybe take more risks. But if it's a goal for something that you need in the next 2 years to 5 years, maybe your risk level will be slightly different. And that is where you want to first start with. You have to have that understanding. The next thing that you want to understand is, in order for you to invest any money, you need to make money. You need to have a source of income, a side also. And honestly, a bit of this here and there goes a long way. If you have an income and then you have a bit of side also to help, it goes a long way. You have to understand that the ability to make money really comes down to a few things: the skills you have and your ability to monetize that skill. So people go to school to acquire a skill. You acquire an education, they give you certificates, which means that you have a skill or experience to handle certain tasks. The same thing goes with your side also. If you're somebody who likes to maybe speak, or if you're somebody who likes to work out, maybe your side also may be personal training for somebody that likes to work out, and maybe somebody that likes to speak, maybe it's giving motivational speeches. Whatever your thing is, right? You have to figure out what that thing is. And you have to be bold, really bold about monetizing that skill, because what is the point of a skill when you do not monetize it? Now, when I say monetize, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that you have to get monetary value from it. Like you don't have to get paid directly from it. But monetizing could also mean that in exchange for that service, you get something in return. You have to think about the Bible, and I'm not trying to preach to you, but you have to understand that God has given you all these talents for a reason. And if you have a talent to speak, or you have a talent to present, or you have a talent to do something, right? Draw, paint. God-given gift shouldn't be buried. It is there to help, to provide, to support, and do something good for the world. And this really comes back down to your ability to monetize that skill, or at least advertise it, so that people know that you have this thing, or you are interested in this thing. Because when people don't know you have that, or you are interested in it, nobody's going to call you when they have the need for that service. Once you can do those things, once you have the skill, once you have the ability to monetize it, then you have to find a way to make money from it. Now, if it's an education that you got, then of course you find a job. If it's a skill that you built on your own, then of course find a way to get money from it as well, in exchange for that service, for that thing that you do. This would really speed up your ability to invest. This is so important, because one of the things that people watch out for is, oh, let me watch out my expenses, let me watch out for my budget, and let me work on this so that I don't spend more than I earn. Now, those things are important. Those things are basic level finance, right? Making sure that your income doesn't exceed your expenses. Those things are basic things. Your ability to save and invest as fast as possible really comes down to increasing your income or having multiple sources of income. And that is something that you always want to think about as you start your investment journey. There's nothing wrong with starting with what you have, but as you grow, find ways to expand on the sources of income that you have. This then leads to my next point. Once you have this basic knowledge, you have an income, you have ability to save some money, okay, you now want to put some money aside. We need to talk about your short-term needs. We need to talk about your long-term needs, or think about it like short-term being an emergency fund. That's the way I think about it. What are the things that if I don't have a source of income for the next couple of weeks or couple of months, do I have some money set aside to help, with my bills? That's something that you want to think about, and have that money set aside to help for that specific purpose. Now, that money is not going to be invested, but it's going to go somewhere. It's going to go into a high yield savings account. The reason why a high yield savings account can be beneficial is if it sits in your normal bank accounts like the Chase, Bank of America, and the likes. The problem is that you're not getting enough interest on that money. Yes, I know sometimes you're worried about having to open another account. You're worried about having to start all over again. But trust me, when you have, 5,000, 10,000 earning 0.01%, guess what? You're not getting anything from that money. Most of that money is actually being lost to inflation. And that is something that you want to watch out for, because inflation is that invisible, enemy that eats away at your money. And as we know, inflation is around 2.1, 2.2% now, and there's a probability that it could go higher in the near term. So you want to avoid, or at least minimize, the impact of inflation on your money. And that is where you need to make sure that your money is in a place where at least it's outpacing inflation. And that's where high yield savings account comes in. Now, if you ask, okay, what type of savings account should I consider? Well, I can recommend a lot. There's the Barclays Bank, all right. There's the Marcus by Goldman Sachs. There is SoFi. All of these banks do offer high yield savings accounts, and you want to take advantage of those if you don't have one already. The reason why you need that account is, one, it's going to be separate from your typical checking account or your normal savings account. It's just going to be locked in there to handle any emergency that comes up in the near term. Once that is taken care of, the next thing that you now want to take care of is, okay, with what you have left, how much can you commit to investing every paycheck or every week, depending on how your pay is structured? With that amount, whether it's 10%, whether it's 15%, we need to now think about our long term first. The reason why I always encourage that you start with long term is because long term buys you what is called the time factor. All right. Remember, compound interest works its way and works better with a lot of time. So if you can start now and start saving for that retirement, that long term goal, then compound interest has the ability to work much more than when you have a short-term goal that you want to reach. Once you have understood this concept, then you should then ask yourself, okay, what will be a long-term goal that you want to consider, right? You should think about your retirement, think about a college savings fund, think about maybe if you want to buy a house in the next 5 years, right? Those things are quite long-term, but let's start with the retirement one. The retirement one is so important because at some point in time, you would want to retire. You would want to stop working. You wouldn't have the ability to even work, even if you wanted to. Some health issue comes up, God forbid, right? All these factors are things that we need to kind of account for, even though we don't want them. And that's why you want to start with a savings account, a retirement account, excuse me. The retirement account is beneficial here because it will give you two things. One, the compound interest factor, and secondly, to give you tax saving. This tax savings goes a long way because if you have an account that is a regular brokerage account, and you sell or buy investment, this fact that you're selling for profit means that you have to pay taxes. With a retirement account, you can have a Roth account or you can have a traditional IRA account. With a Roth account, whatever you're contributing to it, I believe it's about $7,000 depending on your age, or $6,500 depending on your age, is tax-free. So that means by 59.5, you can start taking that money without having to pay any taxes. On the other hand, if you have a traditional IRA, then that means that whatever you take out, whatever gains you've made, you'd have to pay taxes at that time at your tax bracket. You have to, again, understand that there is some limit on the Roth IRA in terms of how much you can contribute per year, and also what your the age needs to be for you to start taking that money out. You can't put the money in now and start taking out next year. I mean, you can take out what you invest, but you have to wait 5 years to initially take out any gains so that you're not subject to more penalties. So those things need to be understood right away. But the point here is the tax savings they offer does help to make that money compound. And with the Roth IRA, you don't have to worry about any taxes anymore. Next thing, once you have a retirement account set up, the next thing you want to think about is, okay, this retirement account is set up. How much can I contribute into it? The recommended number is at least at least to match what a company offers. So if you work with a company and you have a Roth account with a 401k, or you have a traditional 401k account, then you may want to consider at least matching what your company offers, right? Your company match. So if it's 3%, you want to at least put at the 3% in there to get the maximum match the company offers. There's nothing wrong with putting more, right? Especially if they offer good investments through that brokerage, through the institution that your 401k is with. But if you feel like you can do better with finding other 401k, other retirement accounts with different institutions, maybe like Vanguard, Schwab and all that, then sure, you can, maybe just put a match with that company, with your company, in your own company account. And of course, the difference of what you can contribute. So let's say you can only match 4% and you are planning to go up to 10%, the 6% difference, then you can then put that in your own traditional IRA account. Once that is done, right, at least you've taken care of your retirement. You don't really have to worry about that anymore. You just want to continue to compound that over time. But here's where the magic then comes in. You now want to maybe consider, if you don't have kids, of course, right, you might want to consider having a brokerage account. The reason for the brokerage account is that it gives you flexibility to be able to put some extra savings that you don't need into action and let them work. Now, if you look at the stock market for the past 2-3 years now, they've returned excellent amounts. So let's just go with an average of 10%. Last year was about 20 something percent. The previous year was about 20% as well, 24%, I believe. So the point here is this money that is sitting idle somewhere else can actually be put to work by putting it in a brokerage account and investing in diversified funds like ETFs, index funds, and the likes. And of course, if you're maybe more confident about what you want to invest in, you can try investing in single companies as well, single stock for individual companies, so like Apple, Microsoft. Those are things that you can do. The reason why we're doing all of this investment is that we don't want to position ourselves to always have to work for money. By investing your money, you can let compound interest, you can let time, and you can let the company, right, stable, reliable companies make more money for you just by putting some money with them. This is really how you want to get started with. You have to understand this concept so that you don't miss out on opportunities. As we see today, Nasdaq just broke a new highs. Apple recovered very nicely, and a lot of stocks have done well this week. So if you want to partake in these opportunities, you have to be investing. You have to be in the game to continue to make money. If you're interested in videos like this, if you're interested in things like this, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It goes a long way. I'd love to see you in the future one.